No more baseball. Nope, the Yankees saw that all the way through. 877-337-6666. But here's the good news. For the first time, not in our lives, of course, because the Giants have a couple Super Bowls in the last dozen years. The New York Jets have been to a couple AFC Championship games. Certainly the last 5 or 6 years, what I'm about to say I think makes sense. The Yankees have carried the water for the professional sports franchises, largely in New York City. Islanders made a nice run. Rangers recently, of course, made a nice run. But we've all counted on the Yankees to play postseason ball, whatever ball or puck that might be. Thank God for the Jets and Giants this year, because it's the only way for you to kind of absorb what took place over the last week with the New York Yankees. Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, kid?
It helps, but if you're a diehard fan, you invested 7 months of your life.
Yes.
7 months, every single night there's a Yankee game, every night there's a Met game, and for it to end this way, and I got to hand it to you, of all people.
Thank you.
Because
What did I say?
What you said, and I guess I'll say I was wrong about it, was when the Astros got that split against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium back in June. And it was a split where the Yankees' only 2 wins were these kind of lucky comebacks. You said it. You're like, the Yankees are lucky. They can't beat the Houston Astros.
I think we have tape of that, do we, guys? Why don't we go ahead back 6 months and play the tape? You're a diehard Yankee fan. Let's be honest. The Astros have us. We have to start admitting that. We need the Astros eliminated before they face the Yankees in the postseason. What's that? Oh, stop.
No, dude.
Sometimes the blind squirrel finds the nut.
I killed you a few months ago for saying it because so much could change in October.
Of course.
But that turned out to be the truth and the reality. The New York Yankees can't beat the Houston Astros, and it ended, let's be honest about it, in just pathetic, embarrassing fashion.
And that's the thing. It's one thing to lose to a better team. They are a better team. Like we could yell all day and scream and think that the New York Yankees, because they're the New York Yankees, are better than everybody in the world. They're not, and they have not been better than the Astros, and they weren't better than the Astros this year. But I think that's the point. If I were a real Yankee fan, that would bother me the most. Losing sucks. I'm not saying it doesn't, right? But to go out in the manner they went out, with very little to no fight at all, especially on Saturday, makes you wonder, who are these guys? Like, why am I investing so much of my emotional well-being when they decided, like, no joke, they forget about, Garrett Cole gives up the 2-run home run after, Judge and Bader, collide with each other. Sure. But the fact is, you got 1 hit through 8 innings.
Right.
Doesn't matter what else you do. That's it.
And I think the other thing that's crazy is you lost to the Houston Astros, who aren't even the same Houston Astros.
Yeah.
They have a new manager. They had a new general manager. They've lost guys over the years, whether it's Carlos Correa or George Springer or Charlie Morton or A.J. Hinch. And yet you can change their manager. You can change their shortstop. You can change their rotation outside of Verlander. But the reality stays the same, and that's you can't beat them. And it leads to a question that I think is a sucky question to ask, but we have no other choice. And that's the old Clint Capella question. What the hell are you going to do about it?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, some of the stuff, because of the moves they made, they're not going to change at all. Josh Donaldson struck out over the course of 2 games 7 consecutive times, which is a playoff record. Guess what? He's going to be here next year. He's got a huge salary for another year, and you can't get rid of him.
No, that's not true.
You think you get rid of Josh Donaldson? I guess if you eat some of it, okay, fair enough.
Why is that ignored?
Right, fair enough.
Why is that ignored? Because here's the bottom line for both Steve Cohen and Hal Steinbrenner. There is no salary cap in Major League Baseball. There's just a tax. And you've charged us an arm and a leg for years and years and years. And if you're a Yankee fan today, you don't want to hear, well, they just can't pay Josh Donaldson to leave. Why? Why can't they? Because Hal can't write that check? I'm sorry, that's not an acceptable answer to me, and it's not an acceptable answer to any Yankee fan. No Yankee fan wants to hear about a budget.
Yep.
They want to hear about how are you going to fix this? And so, I'm sorry. They can pay Josh Donaldson to leave.
I thought about it, you're right. Other teams, maybe not. If you have a guy with a $20-some-odd million contract, you have to eat it. I get it. The New York Yankees and the Mets, we'll get to them later, Obviously, they're in a position, if it takes writing a check to get rid of a guy that doesn't perform or didn't perform essentially all year, sure, a home run here or there. He didn't perform, period, stop. He's got to go. The New York Yankees are not a perfect team, far from it. Their manager, obviously, under tremendous fire now. General manager doesn't have a contract. So are the Yankees going to look incredibly different next year? If I was of the mindset to predict that, I would say no.
I agree with you.
I think people that are anticipating significant changes from general manager to players, I don't think you're getting it.
And that doesn't mean Craig and I are telling you that's the right thing to do.
No.
We're just telling you we think that all those changes you may be dreaming about, including the manager's head and the general manager's head, we'll talk about it. You may even scream about it. I don't think it's going to happen.
Evan, look, you can't go, 10, 11 consecutive games with 6 hits or less. I mean, so you can yell and scream all you want today about Aaron Boone. Did he do a great job in this series?
No.
I'll be the first to tell you he didn't.
No, the pulling of Garrett Cole, bro, is the worst.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is he the reason the Yankees got eliminated in 4? He's not.
No.
They didn't play well. Aaron Judge was 1 for 16 in the series,
Aaron
right?
Judge was the biggest culprit. Let's just call it like it is.
Yep.
Let's all be honest about this, because I'll say 2 things that are both true. Aaron Judge deserves the most blame for the Yankees' failure. I'll also say you pay him whatever the hell he wants and you bring him back. Those 2 statements can be true.
Yep, I'm with you on that 100%. 100%. It's frustrating because, listen, everyone knows, we've talked about it a million times throughout the summer. As Aaron Judge goes offensively this year, so did the Yankees go.
Yes.
And when that guy, the guy that carried you through a good portion of this entire season, goes 1 for 16, you're not going to win. Now,
no doubt.
Now, is that because the team wasn't built better so that they could, overcome Aaron Judge being in a slump? I guess that's fair.
The Astros overcame Jose Altuve doing nothing.
You won 99 games this year. Altuve's still looking for a hit in the postseason.
Well, no, he hasn't.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But you get
Yes,
overstated for effect there. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, it's like it's funny. I coined the phrase. We use it a lot here. There's winners and losers. And life can be brought down, sports certainly can be brought down to that fact, right? There are winners and there are losers. This current group of Yankee players are losers.
No doubt.
That's it. That's what they are now.
So what are you going to do
about it? Guys who
about
obviously
it?
play well.
But what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do?
Because
well, first,
ultimately,
I think, if I may.
Yes.
I think today, and I'm not saying don't do what you want to do. I'm with you on that. I think today is more about crying. I think today is more about passion and disappointment. I think over the course of time, of course, we will start answering that question more in depth. Now, if you want to do it, I'm with you. But today, I think is venom. Today, I think is yelling and screaming and cursing and, whatever, blaming people.
And you know who's getting the blame? Brian Cashman.
Yes.
And here's the biggest argument I would make against Brian Cashman. The Texas Rangers, the Detroit Tigers, the Boston Red Sox, the Kansas City Royals, the Cleveland Indians, the Houston Astros, the Tampa Bay Rays, the San Francisco Giants, the St. Louis Cardinals, the New York Mets, the Chicago Cubs, the LA Dodgers, the Washington Nationals, the Atlanta Braves, the Philadelphia Phillies. I just named
a lot of teams.
15 teams, right?
Okay,
That's
go ahead.
half of baseball.
Yeah.
They have all been to a World Series more recently than Brian Cashman's New York Yankees.
Well, then you
Every
can
one
stop
of
the
them.
conversation there.
Every
right?
one of them. So instead of breaking down every trade, because here's the problem when you break down every trade. There's some good ones. There are some bad ones. It's a mixed bag. Ultimately, you're judged by results. We're judged by results. We're all judged by results. The results are not good enough. And that's indisputable. That no one can argue. I literally just, and hopefully it only took 8 seconds, I listed 15 teams.
Yeah.
Some of those teams are small market teams. Some of those teams are big market teams. One of those teams happen to be the New York Mets. But all of those teams I listed have been to a World Series.
Yeah.
Not win, been to a World Series more recently than the Yankees. And that, to me, that argument right there, that's enough to convict Brian Cashman.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, Brian Cashman doesn't have a contract right now, and I do have a place for him if he decides not to come back to the Yankees.
So do I.
And that place is only a couple miles away from Yankee Stadium. And I'm not even kidding. Like, if I'm Brian Cashman, if the New York Mets are actually looking to fill their director of baseball operations job, which makes him, I guess, the president of baseball operations is actually the title. and the New York Mets are looking to go out and spend $1 gazillion, which I hope that they are for Met fans, I would tell you right now, I would be on the phone right now to Brian Cashman. Because say what you want about the Yankees not getting to a World Series, I don't think anyone disputes the fact that when there are no restrictions on buying players or acquiring players, Brian Cashman's the guy. Beyond that, as much as Yankee fans, rightfully so, are ticked off today and have been every year for the last 13 years, so I totally respect that, and you're not going to like this statement, when you build a team that is at least in the tournament every single year,
right,
that's a lot better than what you've had. So to me, Billy Epler, who's worked with Cashman obviously in the past earlier in his career, if I'm the New York Mets and Cashman's contract is up, which it is, I would bring Brian Cashman in a minute, and I think Cashman would take the job. I don't see how any Met fan could be upset with that idea.
Well, is he getting the power to run the organization, or is he just running the business side? Like, what's
he has to have the power to run all baseball decisions.
Look, Brian Cashman's a Hall of Fame GM. When you've said that in the past, I agree with you. Sometimes it can just be over in a given area. And I remember a few days ago, you made a promise, and you absolutely have the right to go back on that promise. I will not hold that against you.
What promise did I make, Ev?
You made a promise on the air that come Monday or Tuesday, you would not call for Brian Cashman to be removed as general manager of the New York Yankees. You said nothing could happen to change your mind.
Yeah.
So I ask you, and again, it is totally okay with me if you've changed your mind.
Go ahead.
Do you want Brian Cashman retained as the general manager of the New York Yankees?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
You're sticking with it.
That being said, his contract has expired.
It has.
It's over. So Brian Cashman now has the ability, if he wants to find out what else is out there, much like Aaron Judge does. They have the right contractually to go look elsewhere. I don't know the specifics of his contract. If there is a non-compete with the Mets, maybe it is
or the
there.
date of when it expires.
Yeah. Well, I know it expires at the last day of the World Series.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah, his contract's not officially over yet, but yeah, he's a free agent right now. And I know a lot of Met fans are going to call and go, why would I want that guy?
No, I'd take him.
By the way,
I don't speak for every Met fan, but yeah, I'd take him.
You should take him if you're the Mets. And I'm making this up because I don't even know where he is in his conversations with Hal Steinbrenner and if he would do that. Because that could be viewed as,
sacrilegious.
Treason. Right. That being said, let's stay in focus right here on what we witnessed over the last 5 days.
Trash.
Because it was garbage. It was unwatchable baseball from a team that had no fight. And as much as I dislike Philadelphia, I will tell you something right now. What they have is something the Yankees lack big time. And I know that they only had 87 wins this year.
What do they have that the Yankees lack big time? I'm so curious to hear this.
They have a personality. Now, they got hot at the right time. I get it.
That's what they have, dude.
Yeah, but you know what?
No, that's it. That's what they have. They got hot at the right time.
And their best player is making plays.
Look, Bryce Harper is changing the narrative about himself. He was viewed as a loser ever since he leaves Washington. Washington wins. Philly's a bunch of losers.
I'm jealous of what's happening in Philadelphia right now.
Of course. No, they're in the freaking World Series.
Envious. They're even playing the worst possible party song in the world.
What song are they playing?
You don't know what's going on here? Bring up Caleb Scott on your computer over there, buddy. Now, I got a problem with Philadelphia. And I brought up the spike before the show because it makes no sense to me. Bryce Harper hits, arguably, because I don't know Philly history as well, the single most important home run in Philadelphia baseball history.
And it was one of the great
Is that fair to
at-bats
say?
you'll ever see. How he laid off that 1-2 changeup from Suarez, I still can't get over.
All right, so it's arguably the greatest home run a Philadelphia Philly has ever hit. It essentially gets them in to the World Series, right? They're partying. The place is going bonkers. Yeah. The Phillies are going to the World Series. And they start playing a song, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with them. Because think, what song comes to mind to you that you'd want to celebrate and party to?
I get knocked down, I get up again.
I get knocked
Ain't
down.
no one going to keep me down.
I get up again. Okay, not bad.
Like
of course,
one?
there's the ubiquitous celebrate, right? That's a good
It's
one.
okay, it's fine. It's
right?
all right.
We Are the Champions comes to mind.
Sure.
Yeah. Not in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, you know the song I'm looking for? Or no?
I'm not the guy you're taking home.
Yeah, come on.
Ooh, I keep dancing.
It's a song about a guy who sees another guy kissing his girlfriend.
I just
You know what? That's how I feel as a Met fan. We're supposed to be in the World Series, and the Phillies are making out with the World Series.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And apparently the story goes that they have a playlist they play in the locker room after the game, and I guess somebody overheard the song once, and like, oh, they like this song? We're going to play it.
Right.
It's a song about a guy banging your girlfriend. And it's a slow song, too. It's a love song.
Whatever works for them, man.
Now, I will say this. Watching last night's debacle, I do appreciate the gal in the tube top behind home plate who distracted me from looking at Ted Cruz all night.
I know, man.
So I do want to thank whoever she is, whatever she's promoting, I don't know. But I want to thank her for standing up and jumping up and down. We appreciate that very, very much. So here's the question for you. And be honest. When did you know last night's game was over?
First inning.
Oh, come on, really?
I'm telling you right now, even when the Yankees scored their runs in the first, Giancarlo, Glaber, there was just a feeling I had watching this that the Astros were not going to be denied.
So 3-0 Yankees, you were like, not so good?
I was starting to say, maybe I'm wrong. But then when Nestor Cortez walks Maldonado and Boone's worried, he comes out, he's a little worried.
Right.
And then he walks Altuve. As soon as Jeremy Pena came up, I said, this is not going to end well for the Yankees. And even when they took the lead, because they relinquished the lead, they fight back. Boone's aggressive with the bullpen using Wandy and Loaizaga. Even with the lead, and I'm sure a lot of Yankee fans felt the same way, you're waiting for the shoe to drop. You're waiting for that one mistake. On Saturday, it was the Bader-Judge confusion in the outfield, and then boom, Chase McCormick takes advantage of Yankee Stadium. And in the case of the seventh inning, it was the fact that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa should not be allowed to play shortstop ever again. He's that bad. You could call the error on Gleyber Torres all you want. That's fine. He deserves some blame. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa
bad flip.
Cannot play shortstop for the New York Yankees ever again.
Yeah, well, listen.
Period. Stop.
The Yankees certainly have some problems, but what bothered me the most was not even last night, which I thought at 3-3 it's a wrap. Once they came back and tied it.
But you know what? Give the Yankees credit last night. You said they haven't had fight. They did in Game 4. After they blew the lead and it's 4-3, they come back, they tie the game, they take the lead. Bader, it's another home run. Like, there was a chance, especially 8 outs away, that they were actually going to force a Game 5.
Yeah, I guess it's just like there was just a pall over the whole stadium because of what happened the night before. Garrett Cole, the blotch pop up in the outfield, then Cole not getting the guy out, giving up the 2-run home run. Then, you load the bases up and you go to the bullpen and you don't bring one of your better relievers in.
That was one of the worst, and I'm not blaming this series on Boone. It's deeper than that. But the decision to pull Garrett Cole and then B, not go to one of his primo relievers like he did yesterday was one of the worst managerial decisions you'll ever see.
I got to be honest, I had no problem pulling Garrett Cole. I had no problem. I respect that. I respect that.
Okay.
But to me, my problem was go to a guy I've heard of. Like, go to a guy that's gotten you out of a big spot because
that's not
this
fair.
is the series.
That's not fair. Lou Trevino's been good, so it's not a knock on him. It's that he's not my best reliever. He's a good reliever, and he's been good as a Yankee. He's not my best reliever, and I've got my season hanging. I know I can't go down 0-3, even though I'm going to pipe in a message with David Ortiz and watch highlights of the Red Sox.
We're going to get to that.
I mean, despite that, you can't lose Game 3. So how do you mess around with, let's say, your third or fourth best reliever, which is what Trevino is?
That's my point.
He's not their worst reliever. He didn't go to Miguel Castro, but he went to not their best.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take your ace out, which, again, I wouldn't have done. Cole was not ready to come out of that game, and he made that clear. And I love that from a pitcher. We don't get that sometimes from certain pitchers. And Garrett Cole was almost stunned, like, are you literally taking me out of this game?
Yeah.
You can't take him out for your third or fourth best reliever. It's one of the worst managerial moves you'll ever see. Now, did it cost them the game? Look, they didn't hit.
They were one hit through 8 innings. Like, it was embarrassingly bad. I feel bad for the people that went to the game. You didn't get your money's worth. Yankees put up 0 fight. And I don't know a lot about the guy they were facing, but I do know this. He hadn't pitched in like 12 days.
Well, he hit the Yankees a few months ago.
Right, but he hasn't pitched in 2 weeks. Like, get a freaking hit. Anyway, we got Yankees all day today. Of course, Jets and Giants as well. As the Jets go to Denver, it was not pretty. Zach Wilson, his worst game of the year. But the Jets did what they're supposed to do, beat a backup quarterback and walk away with a W no matter how you do it. Of course, the bad news after the 60-plus yard touchdown run by a guy that was clearly going to be the Rookie of the Year this year. Breece Hall is out for the year now with a torn ACL, and you just feel terrible for the kid. And of course, as a fan, because that completely changes the dynamic of the Jet offense, or does it? And meanwhile, the Giants do what the Giants do. They're trailing in the fourth. They make every play you got to make. They wait for the other team to make some questionable decisions, and they walk off the field with a W, cigar in hand. Brian Daboll is now the Rex Ryan of the New York Giants.
The New York Giants, and they won, and they're 6-1, and it's incredible. They did everything they could to lose this game. Saquon Barkley tried to lose this game. Some of those penalties, they tried to lose this game. But here's what's beautiful about the New York Giants. Despite all of the mistakes they made in the last 4 minutes, and there's so many of them, when they needed to make a play.
They did.
Whether it was Moreau or McKinney, whoever you want to get credit for that last tackle, probably Fabian Moreau, they made the play and they won. And they make you forget about all those egregious mistakes.
Because one
in the
more
last 4
yard
minutes.
and they lose the game by a point. Assume they kick the extra point there. So we'll get a lot of football throughout the day as well. 877-337-6666. I have the Tiki and Tierney rundown sheet here today. Yankees are broken. Cashman has to go. Fire Cashman. Fire Boone. Pay Judge. Jets are saucy. Is Jones the Giants quarterback of the future? Okay. Joe Beningo yells and screams for them. That's all right. Blow up the Yankees. The Yankees are done. The Yankees suck. The Yankees blow. I hate the Yankees. The Jets are average. The Giants win by less than a touchdown every week. And okay, there you go. I got it. We got lots to do. 877-337-6666. You do owe us wings today, though, Evan. Jets won.
Done. I'm very cloudy about the win. Like it was the most depressing win
I'll tell you
ever.
why you can't. I'll tell you why.
No, I'm still getting the wings.
No, I don't care about the wing part. Here's why you can't be cloudy.
Go ahead, tell me.
Outside of obviously the injury to Brees.
That's why I'm cloudy, by the way.
But that is a game that the last 7 years of New York Jets teams lose.
Craig, I 100% agree with you. I'll make something clear. My cloud over the Jet win has nothing to do with the way they played. Has nothing to do with Zach Wilson. Has nothing to do with the Patriots. Has nothing to do with the future. It has everything to do with, selfishly, it is devastating that Brees Hall's done for the year. It is devastating.
Yes, it is.
And then he's a human. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
I'm devastated for him.
Sure.
That is the worst. And by the way, Elijah Vera Tucker's banged up. We'll find out more about that soon. But that is such a cloud for him for the rest of this season. But that sucked, man. And I know injuries are a part of the game, and they're no excuse. Look, the Giants overcame how many injuries to their offensive line? Like, injuries are a huge part of the NFL. Don't tell Aaron Boone. Injuries are part of baseball, too. But, wow, we didn't have DJ. Wow, we didn't have Benintendi. But for the human that is Brees Hall, and then the selfishness of being a Jet fan and watching him, that is devastating news.
No doubt. We got all your calls coming up. Obviously, the Yankee debacle, the Jets and Giants. Win, win, win is all we do. And your calls coming to you live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Plus, much later today, the guys will give you another loser pick on the Bears-Patriots game tonight. Because that's what you guys do.
I'm red hot lately, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then maybe
Even I've begun to turn
maybe
around.
I haven't been listening.